Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Indexer Office Hours. Today is the 18th of October, and this is Indexer Office Hours 81. For anyone who is new to Indexer Office Hours, welcome. This is the town square for indexers, where we discuss all the important updates and conversations that are relevant for you as an indexer. Generally, we break it down into 4 sections. We have an opening remarks where I generally speak about any relevant information for indexers. And I tend to speak about the latest 𝗨𝗪𝗂𝗟𝗶𝗀𝗀 episode. And if you're not subscribed to that podcast, I would highly recommend doing so. It is the ecosystem podcast where you can keep up to date with all of the important things in the graph ecosystem. Then we have the repo watch section where we discuss the latest updates to the most important repositories that you should be keeping an eye on as an indexer. And then we move on into protocol watch, where we discuss the latest updates to changes to the protocol. And then finally, we move on into the open discussion, where we have a general discussion on 1 or sometimes 2 topics with ecosystem participants. And today we have Payne, who's going to walk us through his Docker Compose setup, which I'm very excited for. So during the opening discussion section, we love participation. So please do participate via voice or chat. And just as a reminder, this will be recorded and distributed onto public channels like YouTube. So if you are concerned about privacy, please bear that in mind. And with that, I'm going to move straight on into opening remarks and reference a 𝗨𝗪𝗂𝗧𝗧𝗧 episode that just dropped. So it is with Chris, and Chris 𝗨𝗪𝗂𝗧𝗧𝗧, I think is how you pronounce his last name. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is the co-founder of Console, which is a crypto native chat platform for Bitcoin and Ethereum. In that podcast, you had Chris and Nick discuss Chris's background, where he discussed his work in trust machines. He also taught at Columbia Business School and was also the founder of a company called 1 Month, which is an online video learning platform, which is very interesting because I actually used 1 Month many, many years ago, almost a decade ago, to learn a few things. So it was very nice to hear that podcast with Chris. And some of the other topics that were discussed in that podcast was his background as an entrepreneur, the importance of community in Web3, and an interesting and somewhat less spoken about topic, which is building dApps on the Bitcoin blockchain. So if you're interested in any of those topics, then I would highly recommend checking out that particular podcast episode, and we will link it in the chat. So with that, I will hand over to Anna, who's going to take us into Repo Watch.
Thank you, Abel, and hello everyone again. Okay, so on the Repo Watch, as always, you will find all details of all releases on the agenda. I will now mention clients that haven't had new releases. And with that, going into the execution layer clients, we have had 2 new releases for 𝗨𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗧𝗧𝗧. So 𝗨𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 version 2.28.0, which mostly contains stability fixes and optimizations, plus support for Moran fork of BSC. And then version 2.28.1, which fixes some bugs responsible for empty proposed blocks, and it reverts semantics of batch size CLI flag to an approximate memory consumption. Has anyone tried these releases? So 𝗨𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 versions 2.28.0 and or 𝗨𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 versions 2.28.1.
We've got 28.0 running in production at the moment, and it seems to be running fine. I haven't looked at 28.1 yet.
Thank you. I think it looks like 28.1 will be just will fix additional bugs. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Okay, I will then move on to streaming fast get. Here we have had two BSC releases corresponding to BSC version 1.116. And that's about everything we had for the execution layer clients. So moving on to consensus layer clients. Here we have had a new release for Nimbus. So release number 22.10.1. This is a low urgency release. Low urgency release means update at your own convenience. And this release introduces support for the official light client REST API and improves the stability of Nimbus when paired with an external block builder. That's it from consensus layer clients. I'm just gonna ask if anyone uses Nimbus has tried this release before moving on. This is 22.10.1. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm on that release with already a few. I haven't seen any issues.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
I'm not sure, Anna, if you covered the release for GraphNode, being I had some trouble joining Zoom. We upgraded to 0.28.2 for GraphNode. We're still seeing a little bit of memory leakage in the client, but it's a lot easier to use, so no issues other than that.
I see. So I haven't yet covered GraphNode. There is no new release this week, but thank you for sharing. So what you're saying is it's better performance than previous releases, but you're still seeing a few errors.
Not errors. I'm seeing creeping memory usage. Like it'll cache results, and then it seems like something gets cached somewhere, and that just kind of hangs around.
Are you seeing this? Sorry, Kai. Are you seeing this specifically on a certain role? Like, is it a query node, or is it just
a query node specifically?
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, block ingester. Our block ingester doesn't seem to have the creep issue the same way. Our index nodes seem to be working just fine as well. I don't see the same memory creep in the same way.
Are you? I know that you probably do a lot of load testing because you got some cool tools to do sort of that type of stuff. Are you doing anything architecturally to sort of combat that leakage today?
Well, architecturally, what we do is we just set an arbitrarily low memory limit on the container. We set it down to like, I want to say 3.5 gigs. I'd have to check my manifest file. And then we just keep a bunch of hot standbys ready to serve queries, and then we just have the our ingress spray between those two, between two of the query nodes, and once they die, then we just hot cut over to the next one and just keep on going.
Got it. Thank you.
And has anyone else encountered memory issues with the GraphNode 0.28.2?
Yeah, Kai, it'd be great to maybe not now, but yeah, I'll follow up on that. It'd be interesting just to see what you're seeing and see if what we see on our query nodes and if we can replicate.
Excellent, Adam.
Go ahead.
Nope, all you.
We have a similar memory leak, although we're running version 27, I believe, in our production environment still. Not sure if it's related, but be happy to chat and see if it's similar.
Thank you for that, Derek. Please do let us know. Okay, so Vincent is saying that our memory leak is with the indexer service. So Kai's memory leak is with the query service. And yeah, you guys are running an older version. That's okay. That's interesting to know. Please do update the rest of us with whatever you're seeing if you're making more progress on this issue.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to the graph stack, we haven't had new releases. So onto our new section, the graph orchestration tooling. I'm not going to cover Docker Compose stack just because we're going to have Payne cover it later. So just a few updates on the Launchpad stuff. For Launchpad Starter, we have added an additional inventory sample example, one that lets you add 2 nodes into the cluster, one acting as a Kubernetes controller and the other one acting as a Kubernetes worker. And the initial getting started inventory has also been updated to disable a connectivity server for the 1 node setup, just because connectivity server is not needed in a flat network of 1 node, and that improves, that removes some issues to do with seeing logs and execing into pods and port forwarding. We've also updated Helm charts with new releases of Nimbus and a few other, and we've also updated Launchpad core with the latest releases. So first of all, new release 0.022, and that release contains updates to Nimbus and some Ansible task updates to improve K0s node upgrade progress. So updating the Kubernetes version that K0s is running. And yes, if you haven't tried Launchpad yet, please do make sure you pull from the latest changes because we've made updates. And with that, does anyone else have any questions about this? And actually, have you tried Launchpad yet?
I'm ashamed to say I have not tried Launchpad yet.
No worries, there's still time. But yeah, like, let me know if you need help, because we discussed about you wanting to use only the Helm side of things with your GKE. So yeah, interested to know where you are there. I did have a quick chat with Big Jim yesterday regarding well, the example inventory of running 1 controller and 1 worker, and also had the chat today with Jim from Wave 5 about trying to test that disable connectivity server to see that the bugs is going away, and it is indeed going away. Actually, Jim, can you confirm that you haven't seen that bug again?
Yeah, haven't seen it since I checked it about an hour ago.
Awesome, thank you. So yeah, that's all I have. Handing back to you, 𝗨𝗀𝗀.
Amazing, thank you so much. So we're going to skip today's Pro Tool Watch and head straight into Payne's workshop where he demos his setup. But before I do, just want to share a few words, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Can you guys see my screen? Just give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat if you can see my screen.
Yep, that works.
Okay. Fantastic.
Boom,
Cool.
looks good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So just a few words before we start. There are many ways that you can set up your indexer stack, and here is an example. I will also link to all of these here so that you guys can check out all of the links. Just bear with me 1 second. There you go. So as you can see at the top, you have the Docker Compose setup from StakeSquid, and Payne will walk us through that today. Last week, we had the Kubernetes Launchpad from GraphOps, where Anna walked us through that particular setup. And so, yeah, we just want to highlight all the different ways that you can set up an indexer. And I've obviously linked all of them here. And so you can check them out. Thank you, Payne. And with that, I'll let you run into the workshop.
Thank you, 𝗨𝗀𝗀. Can you guys hear me well?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so many of you know me already. My name is Alex. People call me 𝗨𝗀𝗂𝗟𝗶𝗀𝗀 at the Discord handle. I'm part of StakeSquid, and we've built this this toolkit almost 2 years ago when the mission control testnet was first launched, and it was quite a hit initially. I shared it between a few indexers on the mission control testnet, and after that we've made it public. And oh yeah, Kai, I'm not screen sharing yet. I will. Give me 1 second. I'm just doing a quick intro. Yeah, so basically it became very popular throughout the time, as it was very easy and simple to have it running, and a lot of people have started using it. And also now during the MIPs program, I see that a lot of you have been using Toolkit. So I thought that it would be great to have like an introduction to the toolkit and how to set it up and everything, so that you can follow this guide to just get started more easily. Okay, so without further ado, let me try to share my screen. Okay. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yep, we can indeed.
Okay, cool. So so first for the phase 0 MIPS, we're gonna skip all that doodads, and we're gonna jump straight to phase 1, where we require a stake on the network. And for this, we're gonna use the faucet. You have, like, for phase 1, you need to wait for the Graph Foundation to send you the testnet GRT, but since we don't have the time to do that now, we're gonna just hit the faucet and get the GRT. So I have a wallet set up here. Give me 1 second. Let me get rid of the Zoom thingy floating. I don't know how to close it though.
You should have a 3-dotted button in the Zoom
yeah,
bar,
but I
and then you
can't
can
hide names and annotation. Have floating. Okay, cool. Yeah, got it. Okay, so I've set up a wallet here, which is called IH Live. It should have 100K graph tokens and 0.2 ether, out of which we're going to send a bunch to the operator wallet. So let's also configure the operator wallet now. So we're going to go to this website. The link is in here. If you go to the set your operator, for this, follow the instructions here first, and then we follow the instructions, and it says create a mnemonic. We're gonna head to this website here. You can use anything you want. You even can use a ledger if you want, but you need this to be a hot wallet. So you're only gonna use your ledger if you copy your mnemonic and plug it in. Okay, so we've selected Ethereum here. We need 12 or 15 words mnemonic. We're going to stick with 15 and click generate. Now we're going to scroll down. We're going to have the address, which is the public key, and the private key here. We're going to need mostly the address so that we know where to send the funds to when it comes to funding the operator wallet. But we're going to save this for later. For now, we only need the mnemonic address to plug it in somewhere. And also let's get this one from here and go to the graph testnet, and let's connect our staking wallet. So basically the wallet that contains your GRT, where you stake your GRT from, is called the staking wallet in the StakeSquid's stack. So we need to connect it with that MetaMask. Let's double check that it's the same address here. Yep. Okay, we're gonna go to our profile and then indexing. We're gonna hit stake, max, allow GRT access. Okay, we're on Goerli network. Let's send this. Wait for it to be allowed, and then we can stake the GRT. So it's a two-step process when you first have a wallet. You have first to approve the stake and then to actually stake. So it's just two transactions you see here. Now I can stake it since I approved it. And now I can hit confirm. There you go. And we're going to wait for this transaction to go through. And once that happens, we're going to have access to the staking panel and setting up operators. Let's see. No, still slow. There you go. Okay, so we're staked. Now we have 100K GRT. For the MIPS program, we're going to need 200K GRT. No more, no less, which is going to be sent by the foundation. Again, you should read the phase 1 instructions. Okay, so now that we have our stake, now we can go to this drop-down button over here and then click on settings. And from this, we're going to go for operators, click the plus button over here, and we're going to plug in our public key address. Oh, sorry, the address, not the public key. Those are different. Okay, so you're going to plug in the address. So you copy, you paste, you add, and then you send the transaction in. Okay, now we're waiting for it to be processed. In the meantime, we can also go to, well, actually, I don't know if we can get the display name for our indexer. Let's see. So we're connected on Goalie network. Let's do indexer office hours as such. And yeah, looks like it's available. So we're gonna register. Oh wait, we don't have sufficient balance. Oh, because it's on another. Okay, cool. Okay, request to register. I haven't tested the ENS, the setup of ENS, but I presume it works. We're gonna find out. I know that there were some problems at some point with setting up ENS names, but we're gonna see if this works. So in the meantime, we're gonna go back to testnet.thegraph.com and let's see if our operator wallet was added. So we go to settings again, then operators, then we see our operator there, which is nice. Okay, cool. If you ever want to use this operator wallet for another address, we need to first remove it from here. Because otherwise, if you run two indexes with the same operator wallet, you're gonna break your stuff pretty badly. Okay, let's give this a minute for it to load, and then we hopefully gonna see the ENS name here, and you can easily switch between different ENS names or whatnot. So for profile settings, I won't set anything here, but it's very simple. You just add a profile image, a short bio, a website, or a code repository, and then you click submit. That should be fairly straightforward. Delegation parameters, we don't touch these yet. I think for the MIPS program, we are required to set these to 100, but I'm not sure. Maybe Pedro can confirm. I can't read the chat, by the way. So if you have any questions, Abel, please let me know at the end or throughout the video. I mean, it's up to you.
Sure thing. I'll do it towards the end.
Okay, cool. So we hit register after we waited for 1 minute, and then we should have our ENS name taken. And it should also be here. So you see, when you staked, those GRTs that you had in the wallet before now have gone to the GRT staking wallet. But it's only you that have access to those. So even though they leave the wallet, you're still the sole custodian of those tokens. and you can always retrieve them after waiting for the thawing period of 28 epochs. Okay, so we set it up as a primary ENS, and then click Save, which is another transaction. And once we're done with this, we're gonna transfer some GRT from the staking wallet to the operator wallet, so we can have we have enough ETH to send transactions. So basically, the setup is as follows. You have two wallets. One is the staking wallet, which I presented above. It's a wallet that you have access to the staking GRT, and it should preferably be a cold wallet when we're talking about mainnet setups. So because this wallet is oh, there you go. So it shows up already. So yeah, this wallet, the staking wallet, is basically a wallet that you can you have your GRT with, and you are not going to interact with it much often, other than just changing parameters or getting a new ENS name or whatnot. Oh, unfortunately, it doesn't show up in here, but yeah, maybe the product team can take a look at and see what's up. But yeah, okay, cool. Let's get rid of this, and then we're gonna send a bunch of ETH to the operator wallet. So what the operator wallet does is basically allowing you to let's see, so how much we have in total? 1.1. Okay, let's send 0.1 early ETH. Okay, so what the operator wallet does for you is basically it takes care of the transactions on the network, like staking, allocating to subgraphs, or unallocating, or reallocating, because those are separate transactions. But it doesn't have access to the funds of your staking wallet. So even if someone breaks into your server, which is highly unlikely if you follow basic protection, but even if anyone breaks into your server, it doesn't have access to this 100k GRT. It only has access to the ETH that you put into the operator wallet. So this basically means you're only gonna, like, if you break into my server now, you're only gonna have access to 0.1 ETH, and that's it. We're gonna keep this Etherscan page open for now, and I think we're ready to get started to set up the indexer. So we're gonna go to the Graph Protocol testnet Docker, and we're gonna scroll down. Obviously, you're gonna have to read all of this, but let's jump straight to prerequisites. Okay, so we're done staking into the on the network. We're done setting up our operator wallet. For today's video, we're gonna use a very basic VPS just for testing purposes. I've already done this. It's basically installing docker.io and Docker Compose and Golang and so on, some other useful things. And also you're gonna need msubst, which is a program that basically so when you start your Docker stack, it basically replaces some environment variables from the GraphNode config template into a TOML file. So you're going to see that later on. Okay, I already have everything from here installed, but you just need to follow those basic instructions, literally just copy paste. We can jump to getting started. So on the server that I have here, I already cloned the testnet repo. So I'm here. That's basically what you're gonna get when you clone the repo. First of all, you need domains. So I need to still edit this, but on top of those three, you also need a Prometheus domain or subdomain, which I already have. So you're gonna have to edit this end file here. And I've already included some things here so that I don't mess up with the environment variables. So the email is basically used to send you emails when the certificates are about to expire, in case you don't or something happens and they don't get renewed, which shouldn't really happen, but you know, it's better to have it. Sorry. Then you have the index host. Sorry, the index host, the query host, the dash host, and the Prometheus. I've set them all up already. They're basically like you can get free domains with using freenom. I've included the link here if you want. But you need 4 of them, like I said, not 3. Okay. And then user passes, these are for Grafana. So yeah, basically when you access your Grafana dashboard, you're gonna have to input the admin user and admin password. Then we're gonna have HTTP auth user and password. Those are for Prometheus. So that is not exposed to everyone, and you need to give those credentials to the Graph team. And then we have the DB user and DB pass, which are, you can set those up to anything that you want. Avoid using special characters in the DB pass or any passwords from here, just in case, but especially for DB pass or DB user. Then the graph node DB name and the agent DB name, you can name those whatever you want. For chain 0 name, we're going to set it up to Gnosis because we're going to be indexing Gnosis subgraphs. Sorry. And then we're going to have the chain 0 RPC, which you're going to need one of those. You have to sync the Gnosis archive node, which I presume you already have done that anyway. So yeah, you're gonna have to input the IP address or the if you have it under a subdomain or whatever, you can just put the domain here. It works with HTTPS as well. Next, the TXN RPC. The TXN RPC is basically used by the indexer agent and indexer service to query the Ethereum or whatever, the Goerli network here in this case, and to send transactions. So for this, I'm using a Node Real endpoint, which is free, and you're gonna have enough credits to last you throughout the MIPS program. Okay, next, operator seed phrase. Sorry. Yeah, so for operator seed phrase, you're gonna need to go back to here and copy your seed phrase from here. Let's copy this and put it here. So this is basically gonna access your operator wallet, and you're gonna have an operator. Okay, so next, the staking wallet. The staking wallet is the wallet that you use to stake on the network, which is this one. Okay, and we're going to put this here. It's literally 0x address. Next, the geo coordinates. Those aren't typically important, but I highly recommend that you change those from 69.420 into the actual coordinates of your server, because they might play a role later on, or they might not. But basically, when you register your indexer on the network, it's basically going to submit the coordinate hashes, and so that the gateways know where your indexer is. Okay, so now that we got everything set up, we can start by saving this. And I'm logged in with via the root user, by the way, but if you're not, you're gonna have to sudo everything. But with that out of the way, I think we can just bash start. Give me 1 second. So once you've added all the environment variables there, yeah, basically just bash start. We're gonna bash start and check how or if everything works. So what is doing it here? Oh wait, actually, first of all, I want to show you some things that you might find useful or not, depending on your use case. But if you go to CLI here, you have 3 Docker files, which is the original Docker file, and then alt and alt2 Docker file. I'm gonna be using the alt2 Docker file here because it builds much faster, and I don't really need to install everything using npm, which is what the default one does. So I'm gonna switch this. I'm gonna move Docker file to old Docker file, and then move alt2 Docker file to Docker file. So now we're gonna use the Docker file, which is this, and is basically building it, like it's cloning it locally, and it's building from source, which is much faster, and we don't have to waste a lot of time until it installs. So I'm gonna bash start again. This time it's building from Node instead of Rust. So yeah, this is going to take much. This is going to be much faster.
Just to clarify, Payne, that's purely a speed thing, right? Normally you can just build it.
Yeah. So there's 2 Docker files, alt and alt2 Docker file. The alt2 Docker file, it's installing both graph CLI and indexer CLI. But the problem with that is I can't install, like, if anyone can figure it out, be my guest and submit a PR. I'll be highly thankful if you do that. But the problem is you can't install the graph CLI. Sorry, the indexer CLI is a plugin for the graph CLI. It only works via npm installs for whatever reason. And because what this does is if you can't set it up as a plugin, you have to change the binaries names. So instead of the graph indexer, you're gonna have like graph indexer whatever. So it's gonna mess up the commands a little bit. And what the alt2 Docker file does is basically just install the indexer CLI, because it's in the end it's the only thing that you need anyway. So it's installing the indexer CLI, which is much faster since it's installing it from source. Well, I got a very cheap machine here. It's like $8 a month just for tests. So it's going to be a fairly bit slower, but yeah, hopefully it's going to be faster than just installing the npm. So yeah, that's the difference between those. I'm always using the alt2 Docker file anywhere that I'm installing the graph stack onto, just because I don't need the graph CLI. Like I don't deploy subgraphs using the graph CLI. I don't need it. That's it. Does that answer your question, Jim?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify it for the recording.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Thank you. In the meantime, if you have any more questions or whatnot, let me know. But keep in mind that I can't see the chat. Okay, so I see that the graph CLI have done building. Now it's building the Postgres and the graph node. So we should be almost there. And hopefully by the time this is all up, we gonna have everything up and running. The way we can check that is doing Docker PS and see if any containers are crash looping. But let's wait for this to finish installing. Yeah, so what this this setup does is basically pulling all the required containers to run the Elixir stack, as well as Prometheus, Grafana, Alert Manager, Node Exporter, and all the good stuff that you need to get good metrics about your whole operation. And we should be almost there. Okay, now it's creating everything. Okay, now is the now let's check the Docker PS just to see if everything is up and running. There you go. So no containers seem to be crash looping. Everything seems to be up and running. If you do Docker logs indexer agent, I'll do also follow and 𝗨𝗀𝗲𝗂𝗟𝗶 pipe to 𝗨𝗨𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 to show you like human readable logs. You should ignore this unhandled promise rejection. I'm not sure why it happens, but it goes through and sends the transaction. Basically, the function of this first ever transaction is service registry register for, which is basically going to register your indexer on the network using your operator wallet address. So if we go here, where you see register for, and now we're all set up and running on the network. Unfortunately, I know there were some issues with the gateways, so I'm not gonna check if oh, actually no, it works. It just I think it queried earlier than normally. But yeah, okay, cool. So now that we have our indexer up and running, let's start allocating to some subgraphs. It should, in theory, should work. Let me see if there is any. Okay, so this is a 𝗨𝗀𝗟 subgraph. We don't need 𝗨𝗨 subgraphs. We need Gnosis subgraphs.
Next, I think is a or
Does it
curve.
work or does it crash? Because I know there was one of them that was
That one works. That one works.
100%. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I remember the QM hash. Okay, cool. So for allocating to a subgraph, we first gonna decide if this is worth allocating. Wow, 116 indexer. Holy. Okay. Okay, so looks like lots of you guys already know how to do this, but we're gonna copy the deployment ID from here and move to our server, and we're gonna log into the CLI container. For this, we do shell CLI, and it throws us into the container. So we're gonna do graph indexer status just to see if everything works. It should we should say that the endpoints are up, and we have no rules right now, no deployments, no allocations. It's a brand new indexer, which is exactly what you need to do for the phase 1 MIPS. Okay, so we copied this, and we're gonna allocate for this. Like, since we have 100K GRT, we're gonna allocate just a part of it with a graph indexer rules set the QM hash, and then allocation amount. Let's do 10,000. Okay. And decision basis always. Okay, now that we've done this, we can log out of the container and look at the agent logs again. And if everything it's working, it should be sending transactions on the network for the indexer. Hopefully the gateway issues have been fixed. Do you know anything about that, Jim?
I'm
'Cause
still
I'm-
using the hosted subgraph, so I'm not sure if the real one's been fixed.
Okay, so you can see here that it registered the indexer, the operator, and then the URL, which is the index subdomain, and also the geocoordinates and the hash. So it hashed those coordinates into this, and it submitted it on the network. Okay, looks like it doesn't do anything. So yeah, unfortunately, I think we should stop here because let me actually try to restart the indexer agent one time. Docker restart. Well, actually, yeah, Docker restart. Indexer agent. If it still doesn't work, then yeah, I guess we can wrap it up. But yeah, hopefully by the time phase 1 starts, we're gonna have everything up and running to use the gateways for the for querying the network.
I can ping you the URL if you want for the hosted, if you want to add it to your agent in the Docker Compose.
Yeah, sure. Should we do that now? Because I don't know where it needs to go.
One spot in the Compose and under the agent section.
Service.
Probably service 2, but
subgraph endpoint.
yeah.
Can you do that on the server, please?
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, because I don't know what we wrote there. Just put it somewhere in the MIPS testnet. And indexing the discussion MIPS testnet. That would be perfect.
I think that's it.
Cool. So you're using this.
That won't work.
Yeah, the wrong
that
one. Oh, sorry, I've got it. Sorry, I'm giving you the one from the wrong deployment. Here we go.
No worries. Hopefully, yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully this works. So we're gonna change it from here. Okay, and also the indexer service. Sorry, the indexer agent. But yeah,
you need to change it only for indexer agent and leave the old one for indexer service.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it can't sign queries after that.
Crap. Okay, let's not save this and re-edit it. Okay, so only indexer agent. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, cool. Let's save this and then we do bash start force recreate indexer agent. And now we should have everything hopefully up and running, and we're gonna allocate to this subgraph. So using bash start -- force - recreate is basically recreating the container using the new environment variables. Okay, now we've done that. And you can ignore this, assuming it goes past it now. Okay, there you go. Okay, so looks like it created a deployment, and now it's going to allocate, reassign the subgraph. Once it's reassigned, then it's going to submit a transaction. There you go. And we are now allocating to the first subgraph. Wow. Okay, cool. Awesome. This is brilliant. Okay, so let's go to indexing tab and wait for the transaction to confirm first. And then once this is this is done, we can see it under the allocated section here, which is going to say 10K GRT. And also if you scroll down under allocations current, you're going to see your current allocation there. But okay, it should be almost there. There you go. Okay, so we allocated 10K GRT to the first subgraph. If you scroll down, you're going to see allocations current. There you go. Currently allocating 10K to next subgraph, and it's creating a current epoch. Okay, cool. Yeah, so to close the allocation, you need to wait 1 epoch from the moment you opened it. You open the allocation. So if you go to the network, you're going to have to wait another 1 hour and 30 minutes in order for that allocation to be closed. But how do we close that allocation? So we have 2 options. Let's log in back into the shell into the CLI container. So if you do, let's clear the screen a bit. Graph indexer status. You're gonna see that the subgraph is now syncing. You can also go to the Grafana dashboard in just a second. But you basically see all the details here of your subgraph and the fact that you have allocated to this. So how do you close your allocation? So you have 2 options. You're either going to use the graph indexer actions queue, and then queue unallocate. You can do graph actions queue -h to see the instructions. So you can either do reallocate, unallocate. It's up to you if you want to reallocate or just unallocate and then take it from there. Or you can do graph indexer rules delete this subgraph QM hash, and then it's going to delete the rule. And if you do graph indexer rules get all, rules get all, now you're going to have no rules. And as soon as the indexer agent can close your allocation, assuming 1 epoch, at least 1 epoch passed from the moment that you have allocated to, then the indexer agent will send the transaction and will close the subgraph. But there's also something to keep in mind. You can't close a subgraph allocation until you have successfully synced it up to the chain head. So how do you see where you are on the chain head with those subgraphs? Let's log out from the CLI container and just cut env just for a second. So we're going to go to our dashboard here, which is the Grafana host. I'm going to go here, and we're going to use our admin user and admin pass. To log in. No, thank you. Okay, now we've logged into the Grafana dashboard. We can go to dashboards here and then browse, and we're going to see all the dashboards that are already pre-installed. And we're going to go to indexing status overview. Do we still have time? I think we're running out of time, right?
We're over the hour, but we also have a MIPS Q&A after this, so we're good to roll in to that. So yeah, keep going if you want.
Okay, so we are on the indexing status overview page. You see the subgraph twice here. Just ignore that. It's happening when the indexer agent deploys the subgraph. There's a bug that still hasn't been fixed yet, at least on the version that I'm on. Hopefully we're gonna have it fixed soon. But yeah, if you refresh here and you see blocks going down, blocks behind going down, then you're all good to go. You need to wait for this to hit 0 or close to 0, so you can close the allocation that you just opened. Otherwise, the index agent can't produce a POI, which is the proof of indexing needed to close the allocation. So you won't be able to close your allocation. Okay. And one more thing I might find some of you might find useful is the off-chain sync script I have here. So let's try to run this, and I'll tell you what it does. So it's asking you which graph indexer environment you want to query. So we're gonna see mainnet or testnet. We're gonna hit testnet. So 𝗨𝗲𝗟𝗂𝗧. And then which networks do you need the subgraphs from? We need Gnosis subgraphs. We're gonna hit 1. And how many subgraphs do you want to off-chain sync from the available Gnosis subgraphs on the 𝗨𝗲𝗟𝗓𝗓 environment? Let's say 5. Okay. Do you want to add more networks to the list? And if you click yes, then it's going back to this question over here, and it's asking you if you want mainnet or 𝗨𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 subgraphs. So let's click no for now. I don't want any more networks. Do you want to add more subgraphs to the list? It's basically if you have like custom subgraphs that you need to always be allocating to, you can put those here, but otherwise, let's not right now. I want to edit the start file, and I want to restart the container, and we're waiting for this to finish, and then we can check Grafana to see what happened. Okay, so what it does is basically querying the graph network, and it's adding, if you cut, and now you're gonna see the indexer agent off-chain subgraphs now has a list of QM hashes. What this does is basically gonna keep those subgraphs that you add here always in sync. Doesn't matter if you've allocated to them or not. They're always going to be there. Okay, cool. So now let's go back to the Grafana dashboard and just click refresh here, and boom, we have a ton of subgraphs that are going down. And yeah, this is how you have you can add off-chain subgraphs to like always have them in sync. But keep in mind this is going to use a lot of your disk space and whatnot. But yeah,
There was a question in the Zoom chat. I don't think it was super clear. How did it choose these subgraphs? Because you didn't specify any.
Yeah, so if you want to learn about allocating to subgraphs and how to choose the right subgraphs to allocate towards, you go to the setting up allocations here. And then
to be clear, Payne, I was talking about the script, the off-chain sync.
Oh, the off-chain sync. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
It wasn't super clear which QM hashes each. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, no. So this basically pulls the subgraph. The list of subgraphs is ordered by subgraph signal. So it pulls the topmost signaled subgraphs from the Gnosis chain, like indexing Gnosis chain, and it's adding them to the list. So this is the topmost, like this first QM hash is the topmost signal subgraph, and then you have this and this and that. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does, and it's super helpful. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Do we have any more questions? Let me actually.
Actually had a question, Payne. That allocation picker tool where you're picking the top end subgraphs, how pluggable is that? Like, could we swap that for another allocation optimizer tool?
It's not optimizing anything. It's just adding subgraphs to the off-chain sync list.
Okay, so it's not doing anything as far as allocating goes. It's just setting up it's just doing the
Yeah, that's
pre-worked
correct.
in a sense.
Yeah, that's correct.
Got it. Thanks.
All right. Let's go through the chat to see if there are any unanswered questions, and then we'll open up to the audience here to ask Docker related questions. So Kai asked if you use the same wallet for both the beneficiary and operations.
That was long ago answered in the presentation. We can skip that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can try to answer that. So you can use the same indexing and operator wallet, but in a production environment, I would highly recommend not to, because once like I said in the beginning, if someone breaks into your server, it only has access to the operator wallet. So it can't steal your GRT this way if you have them separate. If you keep them combined, then it has access to everything, like both your ETH and your GRT. And if you have a few million GRT there, that's going to hurt.
Sweet. Please shout, Jim, if this has already been answered. But on Amy's behalf, Jim asks if ENS should be registered on the main wallet, GRT wallet.
The ENS wallet, the ENS needs to be registered on your staking wallet and not the operator. The wallet that you staked your GRT with on the UI, that's the where the ENS name needs to be on.
Cool. And then Dennis posted a bunch of stuff and then wrote which of them Alt2 Docker has. Let's see. 6649 p.m. Do you have access to the chat pane?
Yeah, I can look at it, but
yeah, there's a lot here.
Oh yeah. Let me try to go back to
6:49 p.m.
49, Dennis, yeah. Okay, usual Docker has following containers, blah blah blah. Which of them Alt2 Docker has? So Alt2 Docker is basically just the indexer. So within the indexer CLI here, you're gonna have like the indexer CLI default container includes both graph CLI and indexer CLI. The Alt2 Docker file only includes the indexer CLI, and it's building it from source. The default one, it's installing them from npm packages. The Alt2 one is installing them from source. Hopefully that answers your question.
It looks like Notify followed up as well. Notify, do you want to say the question out loud?
So it looks like the using the Alt2 Docker Docker file doesn't have broken graph indexer status. Yeah, it doesn't. I didn't even know that the indexer status was broken on the default CLI because I've never been using it for I think 1 year now. So it looks like the npm packages are broken somewhere in the npm packages is broken.
And then I think this is State Machine. He asked what POI will be used if an agent will try to close an allocation of unsynced deployment.
It won't send any POIs. So assuming this is on everything works and the subgraph available. The subgraph, how is it called? The epoch block oracle or something like that. It's working and everything is it should be working and fully up and running and everything. It shouldn't be able to generate the POI whatsoever if it's behind chainhead. But in the current status of the testnet, I think it still can generate a POI, which is not good. But assuming everything works and everything is set up for phase 1 on the gateway side and the subgraph The block oracle subgraph and whatnot are also up and running, and then shouldn't be able to generate any POIs.
Probably worth asking the question explicitly then. Pedro, is that all on the sort of like to-do list before Monday?
Sorry, Jim, could you repeat the question? I was about to drop off.
So we're missing things like the block oracle functionality on 𝗨𝗀𝗟𝗪 at the moment. Will that sort of stuff be ready by Monday? Because otherwise we'll be sending bad POIs.
Yeah,
not even bad POIs. I don't think we can even close the transactions, because 𝗨𝗪𝗪, like when you generate a POI for a subgraph, you basically get the latest block number. So if you go here to graph network, can you still see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So you see the active epoch here, and you go to see. Well, actually, no. There you go. It's this using the start block of the epoch to generate the POI. So this is block number 7 million, and Gnosis has like 20 million blocks. So yeah, I think it's not even able to close those allocations. I'm not sure.
You can, but now I'm realizing that they're broken.
They're wrong.
They're wrong.
Yeah, they're wrong POIs. Yeah. So without the epoch oracle, we won't be able to send the right POIs in, but we still can close those allocations, which is good.
Yeah, I will have to double check, because I was sure this was already working, but
I guess it's a good time to be a fisherman in the network.
Oh yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Like dispute the entire network.
Yeah.
Closes an allocation, just dispute it and win.
Stress test
Game
4.
over.
Stress test 4. Yeah, but that's a good point. Thanks for the warning.
Cool.
Awesome. With that, I'm going to open up to more questions, either verbally or in chat, as it relates to everything we've discussed today, and also just a general MIPS Q&A. If anyone has any questions related to MIPS, that was a very, we just covered a MIPS related topic, so I guess it's wise to open up for that as well.
Okay, let me screen sharing.
Sorry, Ben. Yeah, let me just take the time to say that I did update the Notion page, so there's now an FAQ section and also how to move between missions section based on the type of questions I've been seeing in Discord. So hope that's helpful. If you haven't seen it, do refresh that page. You may have the answers you were looking for. If not, we're always around. MIPS testnet, feel free to ask more questions and we'll try to help out ASAP.
All right, well, just going to do another call for MIPS or Docker Compose related questions, either in the chat or in voice. All right, so we've got one from Sergey. If we already have a 𝗨𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗪 wallet set up for from phase 0, do we need to create new wallets anyway for phase 1?
I can answer that. So if you already have an indexer wallet set up from phase 0, you can keep the same wallet, assuming you unstake everything now, and you restake and allocate starting from the block specified in the Notion page.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Amazing. And then we have a very positive comment from Notify, which is nice to see. Cool. Well, if there aren't any questions, then I will say a big thank you to Payne for hosting today's workshop, and thank you to all of you for attending. We will be posting the recording onto YouTube, so if you would like to rewatch anything or familiarize yourself with any of the topics discussed, then you can do so over there. Thank you all, and we look forward to having you again next week for another edition of Index Office Hours. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Payne. It's been an awesome presentation.
You're welcome.
Indeed. Thanks again, Payne.